When Altan mispronounced her name, she laughed. When she hummed his people's song, he listened, eyes damp with memory. Every secret gesture became a language. A pine cone on the bench meant danger. A pressed leaf in the basin meant I'll return. Welcome to Omar's Story Nook, where history gets spicy, legends get a remix, and imagination runs wild. Every tale you hear is a whisper of Omar, echoing across time, truth, and shadow. Before ink dried treaties or silk brushed peace onto scrolls, there was tension, blistering, fierce, relentless. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire thundered like a war cry across the steppes. They were fire, breathless motion, steel drawn in the name of empire. China, grand and grounded, stood like stone, rich in memory, art, and war-worn wisdom. Two worlds built to clash, but even in the teeth of conflict, something tender flickered. A glance across a courtyard, a name whispered in a garden, a love that had no place yet demanded space. She was Lin Mei, daughter of a respected Chinese general. He was Altan, a captured Mongol scout, young, defiant, and unreadable. They were born enemies, molded by mistrust, but love, as always, rewrites the rules. This is their story, a love not honored in scrolls or inked in temples, but hidden in windswept groves and remembered in silence. A war between duty and desire, a whisper too fragile for war, but too fierce to fade. Altan entered our world as an echo of conquest, dragged in chains, his eyes hard and still. The court judged him a threat. Lin Mei saw something else. A boy no older than her, clothed in blood and silence. She wasn't meant to see him, but from the high alcove where she read poems, she watched. He never bowed, never begged, but he looked at the sky like someone expecting a message. She noticed. You look at the stars like they're trying to speak, she whispered one dusk. I listen for the ones that remember home, he answered. His Mandarin cracked, but sincere. And so, a rhythm began. By the willow tree in her father's eastern garden, the stolen moments grew. She brought food. He drew constellations. She told him about ink, philosophy, the bending strength of bamboo. He spoke of steppe winds, wild horses, and fermented mare's milk. They touched fingers once, brushing over a dropped scroll. No one saw. But something began. The danger bloomed just as quietly. Tongues wagged. Servants noticed the way she lingered. Guards began watching more closely. Yet still, Lin Mei returned, and Altan waited. There were no kisses, no proclamations, only the hush between them, thick with meaning, soft with defiance. In each gaze, they wrote verses that paper couldn't carry. And when summer leaned in, the air between them was sacred. Their sanctuary was a garden, but not even paradise is without thorns. Each meeting, each moment layered meaning onto silence. When Altan mispronounced her name, she laughed. When she hummed his people's song, he listened, eyes damp with memory. Every secret gesture became a language. A pine cone on the bench meant danger. A pressed leaf in the basin meant I'll return. Then one night, he didn't. No laughter, no note, no footsteps, only a folded paper hidden beneath a stone. The stars above us burn bright tonight. Remember me beneath them. Transferred, executed, vanished. No answer came. She waited until the moon bowed to the sun, whispering his name into the soil. The guard said nothing. Our father, silent, but in her gut, she knew. Love, born between borders, had been smothered before it could speak aloud. Still, she returned to the garden, touched the empty air where he once stood, listened to wind that now carried no answer. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was absence. Echoing louder than war, the Mongols returned, not as prisoners but as storm. Altan rode among them, face hidden beneath bronze, heart heavy with contradiction. He had been forged anew, now a blade, not a boy. But in his silence, he still carried her name. From the walls of her city, Lin Mei stood, not as a daughter but as a soldier, armored dull, heart louder than the war drums. When their eyes met across the battlefield, the world paused. She drew her bow. He raised his spear. No arrows flew. In that stolen second, they both screamed without sound. I'm still yours. This isn't our war. But fate doesn't flinch. A soldier behind her slipped. An arrow loosed. The spell shattered. Battle surged. Altan disappeared into the smoke. She dropped her bow. Not in fear, but in refusal. Because how do you aim at someone who already lives inside you? That night, victory was claimed. The city stood, but her heart fell. At dawn, a single arrow was found beneath the eastern wall, tied with a red ribbon. She wept, not for victory, not for the dead, but for love that survived everything except its own impossibility. Altan was never seen again. Some say he was slain, others that he fled across the steppe. Lin Mei never asked. She never needed the answer. She was sent to a quiet village. There were no walls there, only mist, mountains, and silence. Each spring on the first full moon, she tied a red ribbon to her window. Some said she waited for a spirit. Others swore they saw a horse below the cliff, riderless, watching. She never confirmed, but she never stopped tying the ribbon. Time moved on, dynasties fell. The war faded into textbooks. But in the wind between the trees, some say you can still hear a name whispered by someone who never stopped waiting. History forgets lovers like these, those whose names were too dangerous for scrolls, whose hearts bent the blade of war into a whisper. But the wind remembers, the red ribbon remains, and in every corner where love once dared to bloom through fire, a legend lives on. This isn't just history, this is Omar's story nook, where truth whispers between the lines and legacy refuses to fade. Until the next whisper of Omar, stay listening.